I think a big reason why people are really searching for new ways to generate quote-unquote passive income is because the cost of living has grown so significantly relative to wages. Take a look at these numbers. Between 1970 and now, wages have increased by around 640%. Over that same time, housing costs have gone up by around 1,100%. Car prices have gone up around 1,500%, and public university prices have gone up by around 1,900%. When you see these numbers, naturally you can understand why people need more money to survive. You hear stories of your parents and your grandparents talking about how, oh, back in my time, I used to work a job, my wife didn't have to work, and I had enough money to fund my lifestyle. Well, today, that system doesn't work. Now you have two-income households, and people are still struggling to survive because households' incomes have risen, but they haven't risen fast enough to keep up with the cost of living. And notice that when I showed you these numbers on the screen, I said household incomes, not your average wages. Household incomes are looking at both parties who are potentially earning an income. And back in the 1970s, it was one income generating the household income. Today, it's two incomes generating the household income, and people are still struggling to survive. And this is where it has become so crucial to understand how you can earn more money, because the reality is, if you want to continue living a decent lifestyle today, it has become so important to learn how to earn more money. And this is where, the argument everyone's making is, oh, my boss needs to pay me more. Well, if they're not, you can ask for more money, but if they don't give it, you also need to find an alternative. Complaining, crying, kicking, screaming is not going to fix it, and this is where you have to understand the reality of what's going on in the economy. Now, I've talked about what has caused this. The cause of this is the inflation, because in the early 1970s, we had our dollar stripped from the gold standard, meaning the dollar was no longer tied to gold. The government could spend whatever amounts of money it wanted. The Federal Reserve Bank, which is a central bank here in the United States, could print an unlimited amount of money, which meant that the value of our dollar started to drop, causing the price of things to go up. When we started to see that happen, well, naturally the prices of things rose, and that's what then caused the inflation that we've been seeing over the last number of decades, and especially the last few years. All the money printing has devalued our currency, causing the price of things to go up, making it more difficult for people to survive off of one income and now even two incomes, which means if we fast forward now 10, 20, 30 years, what is it going to be? Is it going to be enough for people to survive off of one income like it was in the 1970s? Is it going to be the same like it is today where people need two incomes to survive? Or will it be four income households, as in two people need two jobs each in order to survive? Now, you can guess and pick whichever it might be, but this is what I'm trying to get you to understand is, well, instead of trying to hope that things are going to go back to how it was in the 1970s, understand the trend. Inflation has made the cost of living rise faster than wages. Period. The cause of this is all the money printing because of the Federal Reserve Bank and the spending by the government. Unless the government stops spending so much money, which doesn't look like it's going to happen, and unless the Federal Reserve Bank says we're not going to keep printing any more money, which doesn't look like it's going to happen, we're going to continue seeing what we've been seeing over the last 50 years. So now as you project out for the later parts of your career, what's going to happen? Well, if the cost of living keeps rising, you are going to need more income. Which means you want to start preparing for this today. And I know this is not something that most people want to hear, but I'd rather you learn this sooner rather than later. That way you can prepare and take better care of your family. Right? My goal here isn't to make friends. My goal here is to help you be better with your money. That way you can make more wealth for yourself, your family, and your community. And this is where understanding this inflation problem is not going away. Even if inflation goes back down to 2%, it's still there. And that means the cost of living is going to keep rising. And, well, if your wages are not keeping up, you're going to see the value of your earnings, the buying power of earnings continue to drop, and the buying power of your savings continue to drop while the prices of things keep rising. So now, how do you earn more money? Well, there's a lot of ways you can do this. And thankfully, today, there are more opportunities than ever before. And this requires, number one, your interest, and number two, your work ethic, because it is going to require more time on your part. Now, if you want to do it from your job, you can try to find ways to earn more money from your job. Maybe you work for a raise, you work for a promotion, maybe you work to get some more hours, maybe you work to do more at your job, that way you can earn more money. Maybe you work to get a second job, that way now you can really work to earn more money today. And you don't have to do this permanently for the rest of your life, because I call it the decade of sacrifice. The way that you build wealth is by owning assets, period. It's not by saving a lot of money, because your savings are losing value to inflation. And as soon as you start spending your savings, the savings amount decreases. It's not through your salary, because if you break your leg and you can't go to work, well, you no longer get a salary. The way that you build wealth is by owning investments, because these investments can continue to pay you even when you're not working. And as you see more inflation, that generally benefits investments. Now, if you see a recession, of course, investment values can go down, but that also creates good buying opportunities to own and buy more investments. So now, how do you get more investments? Well, you got to spend less, or you got to earn more, or both, that we have more money to own these investments. And right now, if you're seeing what's going on with the cost of living, well, people need more money to survive. Now, how do you build your own wealth? Because you can't just spend all of your money and not put money away to build your wealth, even if the cost of things are rising, right? People are looking at what's happening right now. They're saying, oh my God, if student loans have to start again and I have to pay more money to my student loans, I'm not going to be able to invest my money anymore. You cannot make that sacrifice. You still have to continue building your wealth no matter what's happening in the outside world, which means you're going to have to figure out either A, how do you spend less money, or B, how do you earn more money, or C, how do you spend less and earn more money? That way you have more money to invest, period. If you want to build wealth, you will have to do that, because nobody else is going to do it for you. I hate to break it to you, but Social Security is not going to be enough for you to retire. And your 401k is not enough for you to retire. Even the founder of the 401k has come up publicly and said that the 401k has gone awry because so many people are relying solely on their 401k to retire. And it was never intended to be your sole retirement plan, which means you're going to have to invest more money, period. That is your way out. You got to spend less. You got to stop playing the spending game of financing the brand new car. You got to stop playing the spending game of constantly having the new Gucci. You got to stop playing the spending game of having the nice stuff right now, so you have more money to invest, and also work to earn more money. That way you can go out and invest more aggressively. So now, how do you earn more money? Back to the original question, because if things continue to go down the path that we've been seeing happen the last number of decades, how can you access more money? We talked about how to do it from a job. If it's not from a job, look for ways to earn money outside of a job. And the internet has made this so much more accessible. Not easier, but accessible than ever before. Because now on the internet, the name of the game is attention. If you can grasp somebody's attention on the internet, maybe it's with a blog that you write, maybe it's with a newsletter that you create, maybe it's with your Instagram page, maybe it's with a TikTok page, maybe it's with a podcast that you start, maybe it's with a YouTube channel, maybe it's with something else. If you can grasp somebody's attention on the internet, you can then make money on the internet. Attention is the new currency on the internet, and the way you get paid now is by monetizing the attention. Now, the simplest way to monetize the attention is with advertisements, right? If you have videos on YouTube, you have a podcast out there, you're going to be able to have advertisements on your content and you can generate money. If it's not through advertisements, you can also sell somebody else's products so you don't have to build your own business. This is called affiliates, where other businesses will pay you for promoting their stuff. Or you can build your own product. You can sell your own service. Maybe you have a service. You have a bookkeeping service that you can offer. You have an accounting service. You can do digital marketing for somebody. You can do graphic design for somebody. You can do writing for somebody. You can do the legal work for somebody. You can do some sort of health consulting for somebody. If you have a service, you can offer that now to people who are watching, listening to, or reading your stuff. Because when you have somebody's attention, you can offer your product. You see me doing this all the time. I have a company called Briefs Media. One of the products that we have in Briefs Media is Market Briefs. Market Briefs is my free financial newsletter, where it's a way for me to keep regular investors up to date on what's happening in the financial news. It goes out 6 days a week. We have a team that's breaking down what's happening, things in the housing market, the stock market, the crypto market, the global economy, and our own economy into this fun, witty, and easy to read email. And it's completely free to you. And the way that we monetize Market Briefs is we sell advertisements in Market Briefs. This allows us to keep the newsletter free, but I have this attention on the internet. People watch my videos, and then I'm able to market and get promotion and exposure for Market Briefs. Now, if you want to join Market Briefs, you can go to briefs.co/marketbriefs. That's briefs.co/marketbriefs. And I also got the link for you down in the description below. But this is where now the question is, once you grasp somebody's attention, how do you monetize? And that's the easy part. You do not have to know how you're going to monetize when you start, but you have to get started, because the reality is things are not going to go back to how they were in the early 1970s. Things are going to continue going down this direction. Things are going to continue getting more expensive. Sure, we might see periods of deflation. That's what happens sometimes when you see recessions. But then after that recession is over, the deflationary period ends and you see inflation kick back up. So you have to understand that if we continue to see the housing costs rise, if we continue to see the price of cars rise, if we continue to see the price of phones rise, if we continue to see the price of groceries rise, what are you going to do? How are you going to earn more money? And it's better for you to ask yourself this question sooner rather than later, because it gives you more time to work towards it. It gives you more time to ask that question of what are you going to do and think about it. And this is why I keep saying that the best investment that you can make right now is by canceling your Netflix subscription. Not so you can save $15 a month, but so you can save 2 to 3 hours of your time every single day. That way you can reallocate this time to, number one, learning about how you can earn more money. There's tons of videos on YouTube. There's tons of blogs on the internet. There's tons of people on the internet teaching this for free. And then you spend your time doing. Try things. That is the best education. Then, of course, once you start doing things, invest in your own education. Buy classes, buy coaching, buy that stuff, because it will teach you lessons. Just don't get into all the gimmicky, hypey stuff. Learn lessons from people that are actually doing what they teach, but invest in yourself. And number one, it starts by learning. Then you got to do, then you got to fail, then you got to keep learning and doing more. That's how you will learn. But you have to get started. Listen, I had no idea that I was going to have a YouTube channel that has over 1 million subscribers on it. That was never my intention or my thought when I first got started. But I stayed consistent with my content year after year after year. I've been on YouTube for a long time. Look at my early videos. My videos sucked. But I learned and I improved. And that's what allowed me to build this platform, this minority mindset platform, which then became a funnel for businesses like Briefs Media. So this is where now, if you want to be able to earn more money, you can't just copy what anybody else does because it's too late for that. But you can learn and apply, because the reality is you're going to need more money to, number one, fund your lifestyle, and then number two, to continue to be able to invest and build your wealth, because the last thing that you want to see happen is then you start sacrificing your opportunity to become wealthy because you just want to keep funding your lifestyle. Do not let that happen. We're seeing that happen everywhere. Use this as an opportunity to start learning, to start earning. That way you can continue building your wealth, because that wealth is what's going to give you the opportunity to fund your family the way that you want. It's going to give you the ability to help your community the way that you want. And it's going to give you that financial freedom to fund your lifestyle the way that you want. If you are in your 30s and you want to figure out how you can start investing, it is not too late, but you need to get started ASAP, because there are 3 factors that will determine how wealthy you will become. Number 1 is how much money you invest. Number 2 is the return that you get on your money. And number 3 is the time, meaning how long that you can invest your money for. So for example,